and eliminated same-day voter registration and out-of-precinct voting, all of which are known to disproportionately suppress minority, elderly, and disabled voters. Federal courts ruled the law unconstitutional for targeting African American voters, quote, with almost surgical precision. Surgical precision. Purposeful, surgical precision. Calling it the most restrictive law since the era of Jim Crow. Now, Mr. President, I know Republicans want to confirm as many judges as possible, but why this judge when there are so many other qualified jurists to choose from? I think it's because they know the GOP agenda of enriching big corporations at the expense of everyday working families is incredibly unpopular with the American people. Consider that while the Republicans held on to the Senate this year, they lost by 16 million votes nationwide. Democracy is supposed to be a battle of ideas, but when it comes to health care or student loan debt or climate change, they don't have any. And when you can't win a fair fight, what do? You tilt the playing field in your favor. Republicans want to stack the court with judges who will do their bidding, ideologues grossly out of step with the American people on everything from voting rights and redistricting to health care and climate change to the constitutionality of Whitaker's appointment to lead the Justice Department. That's what Leader McConnell meant about nominations being Republicans' best chance of having a long-term impact on the nation's future. It is their best chance at denying minorities from voting and forcing their bad ideas on the American people. Republicans are so intent on confirming judges with shameful records on voter suppression that they've shredded the blue slip process here in the Senate, which allowed senators to greenlight or prevent hearings on nominees from their home states, a process that Senator Hatch once called the blue slip process the last remaining check on the president's judicial appointment power. Ironically, back in 2013, when President Obama nominated an African-American assistant U.S. attorney named Jennifer May Parker to this very seat, Democrats respected Senator Burr's decision not to return a blue slip. And then Chairman Pat Leahy chose not to hold a Judiciary Committee hearing. Then in 2016, President Obama nominated Patricia Timmons Goodson, the first African-American woman on the North Carolina Supreme Court, to this same seat. If confirmed, either of these trailblazing women would have become the first African-American to serve in the Eastern District of North Carolina, a district that is 27% African-American. Yet neither Senator Burr nor Tillis returned blue slips for Ms. Timmons Goodson, and thus Chairman Grassley did not act on her nomination. Yet today, President Trump's nominees are being confirmed despite objections from home state senators. Paul Mady, a nominee from New Jersey, will likely become another example. Neither myself nor Senator Booker were meaningfully consulted by the White House regarding New Jersey's open seat on the Third Circuit. And for several reasons, we haven't returned blue slips for Paul Mady. Yet, they moved ahead with a hearing with him. So it's been eviscerated, totally. And it's gone little by little. First, well, if one of the two senators turned in a blue slip, that was enough. Now, doesn't matter that neither senator turns in a blue slip, they go ahead with a hearing and probably a vote. So the precious check and balance that Senator Hatch talked about as the last vestige of a check and balance on judicial nominations has largely been lost. Republicans claim to be the party of conservatism, yet I see nothing conservative in their willingness to sweep aside century-old procedures for policy gain. They put their party before their country and show no fidelity to the institutions that have truly made this country great. Something is wrong when any political party makes the suppression of voters its chief electoral strategy. Mr. Farr is just one more card in their deliberate effort to stack the deck against our democracy, to disenfranchise voters, and force their unpopular bad ideas on our country. For the sake of our democracy, I urge my colleagues, in this case particularly, to do the decent thing, to do the right thing, to stand up for the voting rights of all Americans, and to reject this nominee. That, Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from California.
Mr. President, I asked to speak as if on morning business. Is there a time limit?
There's no time limit.
Thank you. I know there are others waiting, so I don't estimate I'll take more than 10, 12 minutes. Thank you. I rise today in opposition to the nomination of Tom Farr to the Eastern District of North Carolina. I do so as the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee. The vote for Mr. Farr's nomination, as members know, had been scheduled for today, but has been postponed. I want to say that Mr. Farr's long career indicates that his history raises serious questions about his ability to safeguard voting rights for all Americans. In fact, he has a history involving voter suppression efforts, which leads me to question